Hello there everyone, welcome back to some more Disco Elysium. In the last episode we found ourselves on this island full of interesting things. Tyres are falling apart, they're at least 50 years old. And now we're going to see what we can find on here. I have no idea how much of the game is left. I can't imagine it's a huge amount, but probably enough to do another 2 or 3 videos. So, attention, inflammable. There's a lingering trace of mazut in the air. Some fuel has leaked out of the barrel, black and viscous. Dial says ICM. You can see a star with little specks on it. No way to get up there. The stairs are gone. Let's go in here, have a little look. Don't think there's anything else for me to look at. Alright. This is once an armament rest. Twin cannons were attached here. Medium distance, large calibre, as they say. Careful, these stairs have collapsed. I can't get over there. Books, mostly fantastique and historical fiction, not historical.
An old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift, with makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. The cables disappear into the wall to your right. The lieutenant puts his hand on the metal barrel, checking for warmth.
It's cold now, but someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
Where do these wires lead?
Downstairs, somewhere?
What kind of generator is this?
Liquid carbon. I would imagine it takes mazut.
He points to the open fuel cap on the side of the dynamo.
The kind that's favored by vagrants and fuel thieves. It's been a long winter, long and cold.
If anyone stayed here, they'd need a generator.
Tap on the side.
A hollow ring. The canister is empty. Dust falls from the generator and down into the ammo lift.
Hasn't been used in a while. What does this mean, a generator here?
I don't know. I'm not a philosopher.
That is his idea of a joke.
I meant, why is it here?
Someone with basic electrical skills has restored it in order to keep the room warm.
The wind outside picks up suddenly, with a faint howl. Inside, it's warm.
Okay, well I can always pour fuel into it if I need to later. Dish is stained with sauce and fire. The survivor's kitchen. Brown Arrow shirt for some hand-eye coordination.
Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. They are not particularly well organized.
Sift through them.
Most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. This disparate digest includes the classic Animal Adventures, popular depictions of man versus nature by amateur naturalists T&T Harpin, husband and wife. Widely read by people from all walks of life. Who doesn't like nature? Who doesn't want to survive? Among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories, you find a magazine cathodique for electrical engineering. Then it's back to pulp. Light erotica, an international thriller about circuit benders.
Someone's made themselves a home.
Okay, leave a second. Let's get our conceptualization up. See if we can't figure this one out, baby. And if not, I can always upgrade things. Okay. Speaking of, I've got all these map tasks still, but I don't think I can actually do any of them anymore. Anyway.
Soft covers, serialized.
Does anything stand out as
fantastique
unusual?
And detective stories. Not that you can tell. This is a digest of someone who's dead bored. Most of it is for entertainment purposes. Fittingly right next to the radiola on the floor.
Nothing out of the ordinary?
Maybe it's a little old-fashioned. There's a nude mag. More than that, you can't say. The print in some of these is pretty small, though. This person has good eyesight.
Okay. A moth-bitten bedsheet keeps the wind out. You see candles placed on a broken rangefinder.
There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner,
Oh, go back.
resting on piles of soft cover books. White linen and a pillow are visible under a worn-out caracal blanket.
Sorry about that. Just got a package that I ordered from overseas. It took me a while to get here. There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner, resting in piles of soft cover books. White linen and a pillow are visible under a worn-out caracal blanket.
Someone has been squatting here. The linen is fresh, recently washed.
How recently?
You force the rest of the sentence out through pain, thick as molasses, no longer able to hear yourself speak.
You know, officer, you can rest here if you are feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest for what's ahead.
Maybe a little, should I? Just an hour.
You face the concrete wall. There's less light there, in the dark corner. Like a dog, you lie there. You didn't realize how tired you were. Your body is still nowhere near healed.
Curl up with your knees close to your chest.
The blanket feels cold. The entire room does. Concrete and cold. Minutes pass. Half an hour maybe. The sounds of the sea beyond grow distant. Your eyelids close. Until you feel yourself standing up in the darkness, right next to the mattress. Slowly, the world begins to hatch from the blackness. It's evening.
Oh.
Sleep.
I went to bed at 10 a.m. Kim? The lieutenant is no longer here. Go outside to the beach. Not this one outside, the other one outside, okay. Further this way. I can still zoom out, okay, that's fine. You can also still run. The door's still here. Closed. Feels strange somehow, you can't get in. Okay. Kim? Where are you, bro? Go down to the chain. There's something there. Chain? Aha. Walk into the water, now. See her footprints on the water. Further.
Dolores Day, the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state turns around to face you. She has an airship airbag in her hand. She seems to be in a hurry. Okay, don't say you need to talk right away. Melt the ice first. This way you're already talking. But you don't even want to talk to her. She would only be cold and mean. Let her go. Let her go? This is the holy queen of the territories of Muindi and Insulinda. Think of the historic knowledge we could glean. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win her back.
Hey.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm doing really good, actually. Both professionally and romantically. I've come to a fulfilling and peaceful period in my life. Well, how are you doing, Harry?
I'm not doing very well.
Don't say that. I know this positive thing sounds stupid to you, Harry, but it works. We all have an obligation to be happy. You too. And you will be. Now.
She looks over her shoulder.
This is everything I always warned you about.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Morova. To live there, in Grad. It's 1 million kilometers away, Harry. Might as well be another lifetime.
It's in the bag.
Just my scepter, my globe cruciger, a spare silk gown, a toothbrush, travel documents, the crown of immortality.
Crown of immortality, aren't you already wearing one?
Oh, this.
She corrects the wreath on her forehead.
This is just a wreath. The crown of immortality is made of rarefied light, mana and raw palladium. It was passed on to me by the rulers of late antiquity.
She looks at the suitcase, not knowing what more to say. Then, over her shoulder, silence. Her nuptial gown flows in the wind, wraps around her holy body.
Anyway.
Your skin is holy and soft.
No, Harry. It's just regular skin. I'm not as beautiful as you always thought I was. Let's not get into.
You are. None of the others are as beautiful as you.
She does not answer. There's that expression again. You have to say something.
Will the stars burn in absolute silence? Have you ever realised?
The poetry thing is not going to help. It's only going to make things worse. I really have to go. I don't even know how you got here.
I'm sorry. I'm foam. All I can do is foam. It's meaningless.
Can you stay for a moment? We need to talk. We need to have one more massive epic showdown.
No, Harry. No. I don't want a massive epic showdown. I want to go to the aerodrome. I have tickets for the 10:20 flight to Morova. Really, we don't have anything to talk about anymore. Every combination of words has been played out. The atoms don't form us anymore. Us. Our love. Our unborn daughters. It's all gone. I have to go to the aerodrome. I have to leave Revachol and you. And you have to be alone. In hell. Forever. That's just the way it is.
I bought you this figurine of a headless found rider.
I don't want it. It looks expensive. I don't want it.
I thought you liked figurines. I thought the figurines were for getting you back.
That's not what figurines do, Harry.
But then the figurines don't do anything.
She looks at the headless found rider between your fingers and doesn't know what to say.
What about dice? I had some custom dice made in this place, a doomed commercial area.
Harry, I don't want things. I want to go to the aerodrome.
Okay, I won't give you things then.
I didn't ask for things. It's too late to give me anything. I would have liked the headless fallen rider. Back then.
The figurines won't win her back. They do nothing. I know you still love me. This is a shitty idea to do, but I'm going to try. It's all in my head anyway.
With your feet trembling from the steps you took, tepid and fearful, you stand against her, her body close to you, radiating warmth. With your eyes closed, you move your lips on her mouth.
It's a goddamn awful idea.
She is not kissing you back.
But I succeeded.
This was not about failure or success. This was always going to be horror. I should not have suggested it, and you should not have listened to me.
Joey could have told you that. I feel her breath.
Her chest rising like a pillow, warm exhalations against the side of your mouth, her tender soul moving through her lungs. Hidden, distant, kept safe from you.
Her cheek against mine.
Feels like soft fuzz, a bird covered in down feathers, brushing against your broken capillaries. The world's most precious material. reserved for those she lets close enough to feel it. You are stealing a touch. It's not yours to take.
Yeah, even if this is in my dream, I could never do this. This would fucking fuck me up entirely. Cold silver against my forehead.
A delicate wreath on her forehead, pressing into your temple. The silver is cold from the spring evening air.
You're not kissing me back.
The moment is ending. She is going to move her face away from yours.
Just let it go. Just apologise and move on.
Trying hard not to look at you. When she withdrew and you held on to her hand, she tried not to look at your face and see the expression there. Brother, you should put me in front of a firing squad. I have no words for how I failed you.
That's it then.
No, Harry. Not yet. There is one more thing you have to see.
She slides her hand down to her chest and onto her lower stomach and smiles.
I'm pregnant.
Is it mine?
Of course not.
Looks down her belly, then up into your old eyes.
I terminated yours. Don't you remember? You poor fuck. Poverty-stricken fuck. Now, go ahead. Ask me more questions. Let's talk about something else.
No, this has to end. Do the last one. More questions. Ask more.
That's not a very good way for things to be.
It's not. But
She looks at her feet, little golden sandals cover her toes. But what? Tell me there's something good.
I don't know why I said but. There is no but.
That's it.
That's it, yes. We've talked about it 1,000,000 times. You will get over it, just like I did. People do. Things will get good for you again.
Where in hell? Stop. You're only making it worse for him. You never help with anything.
Not getting over it at all.
It just takes some time. For you, I think it will take something like 20 years, maybe? It was hard for me too, you know. I used to think I couldn't live without you.
She looks you straight in the eye, her iris is a light blue flecked with green.
But I can.
She keeps her shoulders squared and her back straight. But it's clear you're still making her sad.
Your innocence to this day. I'm sorry I made you sad.
It's okay.
20 years, it's so much time.
Yes. It only took me 1 year, maybe 2. Phew.
You felt that way once, you couldn't live without me.
Yes. But that time is gone now. So very gone.
Okay, if this was Joey the person, I have a extremely hard time letting things go. Just in general, because I'm so inquisitive, I need to know every facet of every single thing. So even when it's emotionally painful, I have to know. So I would be like, well, can we just try again? We'll just figure out what's going on. Can we go do it? But she's adamant it's not. So, okay then. Super okay. Still have other things I need to know.
What other things? We've been through all the things, Harry.
Don't go.
I have to, Harry. Really, I've already missed the 8:30. I'm gonna go now.
I was wrong. You don't have power over her anymore. You shouldn't have said that. I am wrong about everything.
You've sworn a
You
holy
should
oath,
go
Harry.
on without me.
She herself begged you not to let her go. But I swore I wouldn't let you go. You told me, you asked me to be this way.
That was someone else. I betrayed her, overwrote her, and I'm happier for it. And I'm really going now. The time is up. I must be on the 10:20 flight.
We ever see each other again?
I won't see you, but you will see me.
How can that be?
Oh, Harry. This is a dream. Can't you see? I'm already in Morova by now. Who knows how long ago this happened? A year? 2? 5 years ago?
How will I see you again then?
Right here, tomorrow night. Once this dream starts happening, it keeps happening. 3 times a week, at least. And Harry, it really, really looks like it started happening again. There's the video rental. I'm suffocatingly beautiful. And young. And I smell of tutti frutti chewing gum. Like I did that time when I asked you for forgiveness. After leaving you the first time. So long ago.
This is intolerably bad.
Oh yes, this is real darkness. It's not death, or war, or child molestation. Real darkness has love for a face. The first death is in the heart, Harry. See you tomorrow.
That's going to do my morale a world of good. Ugh.
You're up quick. How was your sleep?
Actually, it was total annihilation, Kim.
I did not want to wake you. Perhaps I should have? Was it a job dream?
No, an ex-wife dream.
The lieutenant nods solemnly.
Let's cover the entire island, centimetre by centimetre. That's the next step in the task chain.
Okay.
Few applies simply.
He's still worried. You must have really thrashed and squealed in your sleep.
Ugh. Fuck. Yeah, if I was getting dreams like that about an ex-partner or
Soft
something,
covers,
I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably freak out, to be honest. Well, one thing's for sure, I definitely shouldn't have tried to kiss her. It was a horrible idea. But I knew it was a horrible idea before I did it. But for the law, I need to know these things. Again, my morbid obsession with knowing things is getting me into trouble, as it oftentimes does. The hatch is jammed shut. Water rushes below, far down below.
Green paint flicks off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band, and even a keyboard.
Run your fingers across the keyboard.
The keys rattle like teeth. This keyboard hasn't been functional in decades.
What's this then?
The console of an anti-computation device. The generator upstairs, with wires coming out. They terminate here.
What does this console do?
Urgence, ouvert, allumé, radiodiffusé. Sounds like this device was used to control the electronics here. Maybe it still does.
This device was used to control the electronics in the room. It could open doors, control lights, function as a radio computer.
Push light interior. None of them will work.
Nothing happens.
Turn emergency open.
We need to restore power before using this, officer. The generator, it didn't look like there was fuel in it. We should look around outside. There are barrels all over. Maybe one of them still has something in it.
He looks into the dim light to his right.
The boat engine.
Wait, what about this fuel I found for my MC?
There's barely anything left. That won't work.
Well, we could get some from the boat engine.
But officer, then we would have to swim back to the mainland. Let's just look around, okay?
The consul stands by, mutely.
I mean, I thought of that, but but Harry wouldn't think of that, so I'd be like, yes.
You see a small metal door nested inside a larger one. A heavy steel blast door.
Ah,
There is a conventional keyhole above the handle. It's very small.
how do we open this?
Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open?
He looks at the door, then it's bigger than the lock.
He's right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door.
You're right, we opened the big one. Do you see controls anywhere?
Yeah, on the console just southeast of here. Remember?
He points to it and
Let's
shoves
look
his feet.
around. Getting the blast door open seems like the best plan.
What's on the other side?
Another part of the island, probably.
The
The
lieutenant looks
lock
into the
looks like
keyhole.
it could still be usable.
Okay, so I can either find a key. Maybe that's like a manual override. I can open it with the key, or I can go down here. Okay. Firing slit. You can't see inside. It must have been a direct hit to take out such a huge chunk. Distant sound of cargo ships, signal horns echo on the water. That part where Dolores Day was, almost certainly doesn't exist. Like, it's not actually there. There might be something over there, but there isn't. That's not going to be that. I can almost guarantee it. But stranger things have happened in this game. Playing your Pavis makes you wince, then you continue. Inside of the fortress, you make out the console and the glass door. A weathered artillery map showing coordinates in the Bay of Evershall. An old medicine cabinet newly stocked with Dramamine. Stocked recently.
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits like two eyes in the wall.
B triple prime. This looks like a good place to shoot from.
Inspect the mattress.
A single-person mattress, modern, civilian use. Brand name, Marjorie. There's a fuel stain on the cover, along with cigarette burns, and an empty can of beans on the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts.
Pick out one of the can.
The silhouette of a tobacco picker adorns the paper filter. The brand, Tio Mortieri. Contemporary Revacholians prefer Druan, a local blend from the southern islands, or Astra, the legendary cigarette from Grad. Tio Mortieri is favored by older men for its paper filter tips, sweet smell, and added tar.
I saw the same brand of cigarettes extinguished in Land's End.
Could be a coincidence. Or the same person has visited Land's End and here. I didn't see any signs of smoking inside though. If people live there, they keep it tidy. This here may also be a smoking spot.
Inspect the wall.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window.
Touch the concrete first.
Quite old and grimy from years without cleaning by anything other than the rain.
Look through the hole in the concrete.
The springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. Trepidation. A tingling feeling in your stomach. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting. 1 kilometer across the water. The ruins look familiar.
And on the left?
A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire. Capeside apartments. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A and 33B.
And on the right?
The red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the Whirling in Rags, Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 10, the doomed commercial area.
And between the two?
The box-shaped silhouette of the Whirling in Rags. You see a small fleck of white on the rooftop, the upstairs window of Clausia's room, in the snow, reflecting light.
There it is.
Do you have a line of sight to the window?
Yes, there's an opening between 33A and 10. I can see to the roof.
I can see it. Through
He
the
nods.
scope of a rifle. The shooter would be prone, lying on the mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure.
Cheek against a cheek rest, hand on the hair trigger, on a calm day like this.
No, I don't want to boast.
I think we have it. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest.
Patsy on the back, 3 small pats in a row.
Affirmative.
Better late than never.
Nothing pointed here. Many leads pointed elsewhere.
You're right.
He looks north, over the
I'm
fortification.
not going to say 6 people are dead.
Then at the mattress. He's conflicted for a second. There's guilt there. It takes him a moment to rationalize it away.
Could the shooter still be here?
Where?
On this island?
He does not answer, just nods. With his back hunched, he looks around once more and says,
We should move now.
Turn away. Let's get out of here. Also, there's fuel. Got a canister for the fuel. Now I just need to get some fuel to pour into it. You feel eyes on your back. Someone's watching, but you can't say where. The winch is broken. Rust has eaten what remains of the chain.
a strange feeling looking at the water. Maybe you should just wander off into the sea. Leave it all and walk in with a bottle in your hand.
Raise your sight.
In the snowing mirror of the bay, you see Martinez reflected. Tall edifices of ruins reach into the water, like shimmering towers. And the shacks too. Pine trees and motor lorries, upside down. Islets and posts, like stepping stones, lead into the water in front of you. Go. Step in. It's been too long.
But it's cold.
Yes, cold and still. But love is warm, like the inside of her mouth.
Yes, please.
Oh, fuck, yes. Go there in your head. It's been days since you thought about her. A week. No. We're not starting with that. Not now. Not this time. This thought is over.
Why?
Perhaps there's someone there, under the water, waiting for you, where it has always been. Maybe. You know it's going to hurt.
Shake your head. Yeah, I can't actually go there. Yeah, like I thought, there is no such path. I've also got 5 skill points now. For passing skill checks if I need to, basically. I found a fuel canister, but not necessarily any fuel to put in it. Oh. Thank you. Alright. Find fuel, open the blast door. I've got the canister, so... There's still some fuel in the bad canister, liter or two. This metal looks decades old. The logo of the automotive manufacturer Loom was faded on the side.
This old cylindrical generator
Pure fuel into
waits.
the tank.
The lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you tilt. Dark brown, viscous fluid pours out, and the room fills with a chemical smell. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The lieutenant flicks the switch.
Pull the rope.
The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old warhorse before settling down to a rattle.
That should do it.
Nice. Okay.
A dim golden glow animates the console. Faint, like a ghost light. Urgence ouvert reads one dial key. Allumer reads another.
It's on. Turn emergency open.
Automatic boot.
Turn emergency open.
The blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in.
Ooh. Seems like a bad idea, but that's fine.
After you.
Before, outside, when we were walking across the sand, I felt someone watching me.
So did I. Not back there, but I felt it since we came here.
What if we get into another fight?
Don't worry. I have a gun.
I also have a gun.
I know. It was not easy to acquire.
What's there?
I don't know.
Let's go. Kim is not omniscient. He doesn't know the answers to your questions, Harry. You little shit. Right, I've done a lot of stuff, so let's save in case I get fucking booty blasted or something. And immediately perish. Dun 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 dun. Oh. Small white flowers blossom all around you. A rubber dinghy gets deflated and broken. Small white flowers? Like Glacius flowers, you mean? Those flowers? That's the sniper's nest up downwards. But the thing is hard to tell. Hello. It's just a man with the sniper rifle, chilling. Okay. Hello there, bucko. How you doing?
An old man wearing tracksuit trousers leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth, then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours, unclouded by cataracts. His eyesight is sharp. He's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him a long time ago. This man hates everything.
Nice gun you got there.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done.
Is it a Belmar grave?
It's a 3-Angong 446.
Southeast Samaran made. Exotic. Must be defunct too. No modern rifle manufacturer of that name springs to mind.
A Samaran rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Sinyao commune. Military aid.
Pats the rifle.
It has stayed true to him. He can still make it sing.
The Sinyao commune.
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk, white from the ball.
Your weapon has stayed true to you. Mine has stayed true to me too.
Yes, I bet you've killed a lot of people with it. You fascist fuck. Have you come to make me one of them?
He grips on his grip on the rifle tightens.
We have come to ask you questions. Nothing more.
The lieutenant puts his hand on his holster.
If you do not comply, we will take you in. Do you understand?
That's the answer he gives. So we need to put that gun down. And with the police, you can keep the gun, but keep it down, not one move.
No. Put it down now, sir.
Or you're gonna blow my brains out before you question me. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
The old man lays the rifle down carelessly and looks at it lying there.
Like an amputated limb in the sand. He stares on, his wrinkled mouth moving without a sound. A strange sadness, like a song.
What did you say?
The future teaches you to be alone.
The present.
The present.
The present to be afraid and cold.
The old man pulls back the hood of his plastic cape and looks up into the sky. It's blue-grey, the same colour as the sea. Those words the future teaches you.
Real music. Real Prolet Cult. That's La Revacholière, not your rock and roll misanthropy. Chanson de soldat of the black and whites.
You need to address that remark.
Not a shit-licking bougie dog. I'm a half-dead police officer who's just doing his job.
The job of a bougie dog.
What is La Revacholière?
It is the anthem of the world revolution. One of 3. In Grad, they sang Brave Children, favorites of history. And in Sinyao, it was some Samaran shit, I guess.
How does it go, the song?
How did it go?
He looks skin on the ground and shakes his head slowly.
Something about shooting rabbits. I don't know. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. It's gone now.
Pick up the gun lying in the sand.
His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stopped and patched in places with tape and wire.
Inspect it closer.
The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangong, 4.46mm, made in
So as
Sinyao.
it said, it's a Triangong made in Sinyao.
No one said it has to be a Belma grave. We were just guessing.
From ballistics, it could easily have been a Triangong, too.
It doesn't matter if it was made in Shanti Shanti. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition. And it does.
Uses jacketed ammunition 4.46.
The right type and the right calibre.
The lieutenant nods, glancing at the gun.
He's liking this.
Stow the gun.
The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It can be used against him to get a confession in time.
Who are you?
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
His eyes turn to the reeds again, dead and dull.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the...
From the Insular Indian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in '07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and consigned to emergency defense duties in '08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
You've been on this island for 43 years.
No. I've been on other islands, too. I was in Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was on E48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago.
How do you conceal... You said this is a termless surrender?
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol.
We're with the RCM. Let's leave it at that.
Let's. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, the Parti Communiste dans le Monde. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
His hand shakes as he breaks into a coughing fit.
A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit. Rene, the royalist on the coast, said,
The communards signed the Revacholian Instrument of Surrender.
Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors who should have been burned alive. I answer to the Communist Party.
Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party didn't surrender?
he just wipes the blood from his chin.
Honourable.
Honor is a feudal atavism. My motive is class.
Again, you've been hiding there for 43 years.
43 years and 10 months.
That's steadfast.
It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
He looks across the water.
Always waiting. Always.
For what?
For her to return.
Her who?
Girl child. Revolution.
I've been there. The city is a tinderbox. It may still happen.
It won't. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do.
What is this place, this island?
It's not an island, Dwat. It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol. And I am its last surviving defender.
What was it used for?
The congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing. against the whole world.
You mean the landing, the retaking of Revachol?
Coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone.
Murderers. I know what you mean.
You don't know. You haven't seen it. Iblis.
Iblis?
The black-eyed angel.
He nods.
Shaitan Ahura, the Darkened One.
You said you deserted your unit.
I was just 16 years old. 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage, too.
Understood.
Well done. I won't explain it to a minion of capital.
How have you survived all the time?
How does anyone survive? I steal.
What do you steal?
Supplies, vegetables. I collect rainwater. It's the life of a dog, not a human being.
Puts his hand on his belly.
How is your health, Mr. Dross?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stew, too.
He does seem frail. Good for his age. More like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight could mean cancer.
DRCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns.
We also have Dramamine.
We have Dramamine and other opioid-based painkillers. You must be in pain.
I have been running out of that stuff.
A light goes on in his eyes. He smacks his dry lips. This is a serious situation. You need to be looked over and we can do it.
There's nothing to look over. The triage is in, and it's black. Administer morphine. Moribund.
How have you coped mentally?
I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain only. A decade of...
His eyes roll into his skull and back.
I don't even know what. Inferno?
You notice the lieutenant's about to say something.
I would imagine it gets tremendously difficult, mentally, to live in isolation.
Traitors. It's better alone. I watch the people of this city turn the lights back on, more and more each year. Ruins, glimmering in the dark, like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting.
He looks down at his shoes, his face parched from the sun and the wind. There's a wince of pain in there somewhere.
Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on?
How have you concealed yourself all these years?
It was hard in the Thames. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds.
Closes his eyes.
Floodlights on the water at night.
There were posters, campaigns.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Marsov coursing through their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequencies dead.
How did you get between here and the mainland?
At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just...
All silent, his gaze fixed on the shack huddled together across the water. The weapon cache in Desantos Lane 22B, in the basement. Have you been there?
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right?
They were damaged beyond use.
I know.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights, ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map he's walked across.
There's a small bunker under the Feld building. Have you stayed there?
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys.
Killed themselves?
A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
One more question. Do you smoke Tio cigarettes?
I do.
Never smoked them on the mainland?
They're good. Plenty of tar. I like that boy on the pack, too. Reminds me of the last century.
Why don't you just walk there?
I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking, laughing.
Tell me another thing.
The old man looks across the water at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
I have another serious question for you.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
What have you been using this gun for?
I've used it for killing people.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. Go in straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel, the security contractor? He won't know what we're talking about. Wait, so which one do I say then?
Nothing comes to you. Silence. His black eyes look at you.
So you're saying you've killed people after active fighting stopped?
What did I just say?
He keeps shaking his head erratically. Suddenly, he brushes something out of his eye.
What did I just tell you? Don't drop the ball now.
I know you want to tell me. Have you killed anyone with that gun in the last week or two?
I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque murderer.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time.
Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel, the security contractor, Quinnell?
The who now?
He leans in and cups his ear.
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire.
The corpse and ceramic armor hanging behind the whirling rags. Did you shoot him?
Oh, yes. That one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
The lieutenant takes us and steps toward him.
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. Get a confession. The gun. The murder weapon is the perfect opener. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember. Something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
We've done the ballistics. The shot came from this island.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. Did you like the view?
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete. specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession.
The lieutenant softens his voice.
You've been here a long time, Mr. Dros. Too long. You clearly need medical aid.
I'm ready to die. I've done my part.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part.
The best uninterrupted line of sight into that window in all of Martinez.
Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck. Radio Gosh is right. You have worms in your brain.
Another sudden twitch, then one more in his right eye.
Almost. He almost burst out there. Keep piling arguments. Anything.
I don't need your cooperation, I've got this.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your little musketeer pistols. I've seen you prance around with those. Jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. He would have a good view of the tribunal from here. It's not just empty boasting. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
Stop changing the subject, we have the murder weapon.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
You think we have the murder weapon?
4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. We have it. This is it.
I'm calling it. We have the murder weapon.
Good.
The lieutenant takes out his notebook and draws a single line.
This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
Murder.
The old man does not say more, he just glances into the reeds and then twitches once more.
This pushed him, but not enough. Just a little more.
Come on, what am I forgetting? Hit yourself on the side of the head.
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof.
Oh, yes.
There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. They're revolutionary symbols from the war. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now, they're gonna come up.
Of course, thank you, Head, thank you.
You got it. Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul. Maybe don't beat yourself anymore, though. You're not immortal.
I wonder what brand of boots you're wearing. No, the boots are no good because he shot them from here, so he didn't need to go to the mainland and wouldn't go. There are Maybells behind the victim's window.
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them.
He seems tender suddenly. Nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
I haven't seen these flowers anywhere else in Martinez, only here.
They blossom on the islets before we fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it. The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
I may.
Hugh's tremor past his face. A young woman named Classia. Ring any bells? These dried flowers are behind her window.
Classier.
You know her, right? She had intimate relations with the victim, the mercenary.
With the victim.
He turns his sight from the whitening field of flowers and falls silent, then the muscles in his jaw twitch a spasm.
Don't leave any loose ends. Get him on everything.
I wonder what brand of boots you're wearing.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa? Some shit.
Show me the soles, please, Mr. Dros.
Fucking imbecile.
The old man stretches out his leg. A black and white spiral pattern covers the sole of the worn-out old running shoes on his feet.
The maker is called Sensory. You see their V-shaped logo, but can't make out the size. These are not the unusual horizontal pattern soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the sole.
Maybe it's simpler than that.
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
People change shoes, it doesn't mean you weren't there near the room the victim died in sneaking around.
Racking those brains, are you? desperate to report something back to your masters. They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood.
He was a soldier too. He was a man.
Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
He breathed through flared nostrils.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
So you shot him?
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eyes. His fist begins to tremble from the anger.
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you.
Just nod.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them. In phase. And I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth.
He begins to smile.
I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
Then what?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Lieutenant asks for a second of silence.
Yes.
A single word is all he gives.
And you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman, having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
The lieutenant takes out his notebook slowly, very slowly.
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
He shrugs, then smacks his lips.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from. You can coax it out of him. The lieutenant's preparing the ground.
Okay.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
Why were you looking at them that night?
I'm always looking.
He cocks his head to the side, then turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his right side, lower in intensity.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
And if you don't like it?
Click.
You pull the trigger.
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
He will not stop now. These dialectical materialist types never do. Exploit it. You got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift.
Been looking at anything else you haven't liked?
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
More specifically?
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst.
How come?
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries.
Points inland.
Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
Mr. Clare.
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III. a syphilitic murderer on the town square, to spit on the working class.
Let him finish, don't interrupt.
Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. In tents, like animals. Like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
Shaking his head with sorry for the sight he missed. Nod.
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no. The worst is that old cock parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Quayamoran, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children.
Say nothing.
That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt, Frisell, is now dead.
Just nod.
We did good when we pushed him under that horse car. If only, in the 30s, those disco whores...
Follows his ominous mumbling, he can't make out a single word.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter. There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people might be worth investigating.
Something about a statue on the roundabout and syphilis.
Syphilis is a disease Philip III contracted in a whorehouse. The statue is an abomination.
Abomination.
The bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine, cocainum, and monuments of himself. His son, Philip IV, the insane, contracted syphilis in the womb.
Breathes him with the wheat of hatred.
That is technically possible, although Philippe III was not actually syphilitic. He was just mad.
And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives toppling that mode of government. And those grotesque statues, too. Hundreds of them.
But it's still there.
What a keen remark. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why?
Because cynical advertising yuppies erected a deconstructed version of it.
That's right. Some advertising cockroaches erected a cynical deconstruction of it. We tore it down with honest working-class plastic explosives. And there it is again.
He shakes his head in disgust.
Art is a bourgeois establishment. It's an affront to humanity. Every gallery should be bulldozed, and the artists should all be given 30 years of hard labor in Yekokata.
Wait, it suddenly strikes you. Perhaps it was not as it seemed.
Actually, it was not deconstructed so much as captured in the moment of the explosion.
What are you talking about?
It's not a monument to Philippe III anymore, it's a monument to the monument of Philippe III exploding.
What is this madness?
The dim light comes on in his eyes.
The lieutenant, too, has cocked his head and is looking at you with a strange expression.
It's not madness, it's a monument to what you did, to your program of destatuing Revachol.
So you're saying it's a communist monument now?
Not only.
Yes, and furthermore, the design bureau people are probably left-wing too, they often are.
We did always have the prettiest posters. Maybe you're right. That is how dialectics work. But understand this, art is still a bourgeois institution.
I can understand that.
And they all should still be sent to Yekokata.
Of course, straight to Yekokata.
Straight to the open pit mine. or cleaning up radiation in Severnaya Zemlya.
Biggest communist, the communist video employed critical theory 9 times. See, I'm such a centrist, I say all the different viewpoints all the time.
Yes.
But
Well.
most of the time I say the communist ones, it's because I think that's what the people I'm talking to want to hear. Yes, well, the ancient communard sizes you both up, not sure what to think of it.
The smallest doubt takes root in him. Perhaps this cop is... No, it can't be. This has helped your standing in his eyes.
That's it for the statue then. Tell me, Mr. Joss.
The fat union man let them put it there. Corrupt as he is. Probably got a fat check for it too. Shared with the law.
Accusations of corruption. Push them aside with a sharp change of topic, officer. Put the heat on him.
Disco whores
Horse.
is all he says. Even that word has been pushed through his teeth with great force. The rage seethes too hard. You mentioned the Union is social democratic, and Mr. Clare's a farce of a social democrat.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
Disappointment. So personal. He displays a familiarity with the Union's top brass.
He was a disappointment. Everard Clare.
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
Doesn't Everard run the Union?
That mobster toad couldn't run a shithouse. He has no political education. His twin, Edgar Clare, that one's been to one of those East Revachol universities. He talks a big game about uprising and alienation and so on.
You've talked to Edgar.
First against the wall with him.
You stop poking at the ash now, just shakes his head.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course. Maybe the Clears asked him to.
Have you approached them?
I haven't approached anyone. I hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has
He
brains.
points to the path leading to the tower.
Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left. Wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things.
When was this?
20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
That's around the time the Clears came to power.
And what did you talk about?
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Marzov. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzov. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
And he let you be here.
Let me be here. The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
Mr. Joss, did you kill the Cornell mercenary for the Clares to incite a riot?
I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
He shakes his head.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
He coughs.
Okay, he didn't do the hang the man for them. But he's insinuating something. There is more here. You can feel it. He was not outright lying, but almost.
Okay. By the cock parading in his colourful uniform, you mean Renee?
Every fucking morning. For 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That is not a working class game. I don't care what they say on Radio June. Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A petanque maniac Race traitor.
Just let him go off.
I remember him. I remember him from La Noce. Not him, personally. His make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the Liberals came to their rescue. We missed one. That one.
With his shaky finger, he points to the city toward the crater near the plaza where Lonely Pine Tree stands.
Fat and plump, like a pheasant, just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me.
You'd like to kill him?
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bonbon melt in my mouth.
Save the treat for later?
The lieutenant asks cheerfully.
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think, no, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, René. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls, and I suddenly feel
He lets out a wistful sigh.
better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one for him. Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood.
Hearing it may destabilize him. You sure you've gotten everything from him?
René is dead. He died of old age a couple of days ago.
No,
Yeah.
I waited too long. I waited too long, and now he's dead?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dross. I understand you knew him for a long time.
They're all dead now. Fuck him.
If he really wanted to kill him so bad, he would have done. There must have been 1,000 black days on these islands. His health ailing.
I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
The old communist said, staring at the ground seemingly on the island you're on. You had 1,000 chances to kill him.
And I blew them all. What does it matter now? He's gone. Ancient dust.
He reminded him of himself. The same hatred. The same. You tried to think of something else. But no. It's just hatred.
You okay, Mr. Joss, to go on?
You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fuck and die. All the other plans we had. To love. To colonize the Pale. It's all fucked.
He's not okay. This is just another black day in a row of black days. Something strange is keeping him together, making him endure. An idea told to him by grown-ups from radio towers and leaflets in beautiful print when he was still a teenager. Everything is possible if we fight. And then he lost it. So did they all.
Okay, I'm glad we talked about this now.
Glad we talked about what?
Okay. What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder?
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
Okay then.
Splat. A bloody spitball lands on the firewood.
Let's do this
Them.
again. So you were
Fucking
jealous?
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. Drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore.
For him to stop reacting to stimuli, to be broken off from the world, cordoned into darkness.
And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
This man has seen past her, like you did. And now he longs to see her covered in blood. To punish her.
You wanted to punish her? So you killed him.
She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her.
He shakes his head and stares at the ashes.
You stare at them too. In your mind, her innocence day still turns to leaf. Airport bag in hand. Silks flowing in her wake.
A dream.
See you tomorrow, Harry. Her voice rings in the evening air.
You saw through her. So did I.
You're delusional. There's nothing to see in the soul of the bourgeois woman. It's the same as the surface. Sick hedonism and desperation.
I'm not like that. I don't think like that.
No one gives a shit what you think. You and your cronies kill 10 working-class men a day. I've heard the statistics on Channel 8.
How long have you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinez. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have a skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Fell building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
And beautiful.
And beautiful.
That, too.
He nods.
How could you see what she looked like? You said it was
Through
dark.
the sniper scope.
The sun came up. Her hair was like cobwebs. She smoked more fags and snorted a line of whatever shit she was on right there.
He shakes his head.
She needed it just to move.
What do you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Brut.
In the free state of Seminine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale.
It's the hidden buoy she told us about. You looked into it.
After she was gone,
He nods.
Did you keep the documents in it?
no, I put them back. Why would I take them? I'm not going to phone. Oh, I mean,
Where's this submersible? Looks like the investigation missed it.
in the water. Behind the campsite there. I don't remember precisely. It was in the winter. It was cold out.
Moving on, did you continue watching her after this?
I did. She had a face like an archipelago with those birthmarks. And a body hard and lean and bruised all over. Black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook. On the run. Revishal's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook? From the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
He's setting it up for you.
Nice.
The bruises. You can't make that out in a scope.
And you could see her bruises through the scope of a rifle.
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
He shakes his silver grey head. Footprints in the dust. Could have changed shoes. Go for one of them. 83%.
Yeah.
It quickly comes to you.
Never see her through a window on a roof.
Mm-hmm.
He smacks his lips, bending like a bow against the glass.
Bending like a bow against the glass.
You've been through the secret route behind the Welling of Ags. Those are your footprints. You just changed your shoes.
I've been through all of Martinez. Every nook and cranny.
And that too.
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
Keeps shaking his head.
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
Points towards the rolling in rags.
Andy found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
You had feelings for that woman.
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough.
The coals of his eyes glistened suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
Is that why you left the dry flowers behind our window?
No,
He starts to shake his head again, a sunflower on a withered stalk. Why then?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of her room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
When was this?
The day after I killed him.
And you brought her Maybells.
Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
You wanted to console her.
Maybe. I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you. If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
He wipes his eye.
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more.
So in conclusion, it wasn't about him, it was about her.
Her.
He repeats, staring at the ashes and the reeds as a twitch in the corner of his eye.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
She got away, but she led us here first. She figured out someone was watching her from the sea fort.
Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week at the island, like she knew.
He sighs.
She'd look at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right into me.
He adds to no one in
It
particular.
doesn't matter.
He knew she knows. She was looking at the island, figuring it out, day by day, cigarette by cigarette. The old man has fallen silent, staring at your feet. The burnt logs in the fire are moist from the sea air.
Okay. That's it for now, old man.
I
Stay
ain't
put.
going anywhere.
Alright, so. Composure. I'll see you guys next time when we speak to the deserter again and probably arrest him for the crime and see what happens. See you then. Goodbye.